You just dropped some gold nuggets, and I want to bring some of those forward and just make
Sure.
sure, I heard this correct, because I think there's some real value in this, Rick. And my goodness, I can just feel that you're so solidly in for people and have this passion around insurance. So I'm going to try to get my questions organized here, but I wanted to make sure that I heard this correct. As far as homeowners insurance, one of the best things that anybody listening can do, and this might even play to renters insurance, you can tell me, but take a smartphone, walk around their house, document the walls, document the items in that home, and that is then the record that an adjuster can utilize should there be some event that requires that. Did I hear that correct?
You did.
Welcome to the Kooler Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kuehlhorn, and I'm excited to have you join me as I interview community members and business leaders from the communities in which I live, work, and serve through my business Kooler Garage Doors. We're going to bring you highlights on characters in our communities. Why? Because community matters, and I want to know more about who is behind our business and leadership in order to understand and support the community fabric that our relationships make up. And collectively, we can build stronger communities that support our lifestyles, our youth, and our health.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Kooler Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kuehlhorn. Today, I'm so honored and so excited to speak with our guest, Rick Nelson, who owns the American Family Insurance in Gunnison, or not Gunnison anymore. He used to be up in Gunnison. Now he's in Grand Junction. Rick, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Matt. I'm honored to be on this podcast with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I really am excited to hang out with you. And you and I met in Gunnison. I believe maybe I was a client of yours for a while with maybe home auto insurance, something like that. And then it's been a number of years you moved down to Grand Junction. When was that?
We relocated in 2017.
Right on.
I had Gunnison and Montrose as my agencies, and then I had an opportunity. I don't know if it was a demotion or a promotion, but I got into leadership with American Family, and I was in charge. I was responsible for the entire western slope of Colorado. So did that for 5 years, and now I'm living the dream again. And Matt, did you know today is actually National Make Your Dreams Come True Day? And I've always wanted to be on a podcast. I'm going to take this off my bucket list, Matt. So thank you for inviting me.
I did not know it was National Make Your Dreams Day.
That's right.
Huh. All
See,
right.
if you don't learn anything from me today, there's one thing you learned.
Well, Rick, I have a couple of questions for you, but before we dive into the now and potential future, where did you grow up?
Well, in the Midwest, Matt, primarily in Sioux City, Iowa, and had a short stint with my family in Wayne, Nebraska. So that tri-state corner of South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa was where we grew up.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was growing up like for you in Sioux City?
Oh my gosh, I was the youngest of four, picked on all the time, but I came out the toughest, I'm not going to lie, because I'm sure my brothers will watch this video as well. It was good. Midwestern values, everything happens for a reason. And it was an excellent experience to have the Midwest, and then moving to Colorado was amazing.
Yeah. What's the concise story there? How did Sioux City, the South Dakota little region there, move all the way into the mountains?
Sure. Well, once we relocated to Gunnison in 2002, it's been a while. Before that, I was a sales manager for Gateway Computers. You may still have a cow-spotted box in your garage, Matt. But we vacationed in Estes Park every year, consistently. Yeah. And the more we went there, the more we fell in love. We assumed everything in Colorado was like Estes Park. So my wife, of all people, Michelle, we've been married, we're going on 36 years. She found an opportunity in Gunnison. Never heard of Gunnison, but we flew in and just fell in love with our first time seeing the place.
Really?
And when we were touring the area, Matt, we didn't even make it. We went out. We didn't even make it to Blue Mesa. We saw all the mountains. We didn't make it to Crested Butte. We made it to Crested Butte South. And even though we didn't see anything else except Gunnison, we did fall in love with it.
Yeah.
That's how we relocated.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you got into Gunnison in 2002.
Yes, sir.
And spent the years up to 2017 before moving into Grand Junction?
We did. I started out, I don't want to personally thank the Loken family and Kim Gailey, who's now at the college, for taking a chance on me, bringing me from this Midwestern punk kid, to beautiful Gunnison, Colorado. And, I got to work with the Lokens for a long time and learned a lot, and had an opportunity to go into business for myself. And I hated leaving them, but man, things happen for a reason. And now that I'm insurance, I started, later in my life as a career, and I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back at all, Matt.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. So recently, Kooler's gotten the opportunity to serve Gunnison. This is where we were kind of born and raised.
Sure.
And now we've got one of our technicians in Grand Junction, and I love learning about the nuances in the community. And there's also a lot of similar type of threads with just being Western Slope, Colorado. What do you love about your community?
There's so many things. I experienced what you're going through now, learning, having a second branch, if I can call it that, in Grand Junction. I did the same thing. I was primarily in Gunnison, and then having a second location in Montrose. It's only 60 miles away, but it's night and day difference as far as people and how they communicate.
Yeah.
Nothing bad, just different. And the same is true with Grand Junction. Amazing places, amazing people. All the sports that we traveled to with the kids from Gunnison, we never took the time to experience the places. Like, if you haven't been, take a trip to the Colorado Monument. It's mind-blowing. It's pretty incredible.
For sure.
The food, the surrounding areas for Grand Junction, like Palisade, Fruta, they all have their uniqueness. And if you haven't had a peach from Palisade, oh my gosh. Or hot tomato pizza from Fruta, you're missing out, people.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yes. Yeah, those are great shout outs. I would agree. I always, Gunnison is a little limited with regards to food, and it's so nice to get into Grand Junction and that area with more options. And
I'm not going to say my
certainly
extra 30 pounds since I lived in Gunnison as a result of the additional food choices here, but Gunnison has our favorite places as well, and we always love coming back. And
absolutely,
which one are we going to hit today or this trip? And okay, we'll go to
absolutely
that one next time. So it's all good.
That's right. That's right. It is. I love that. All right. So I do have a couple of questions that is insurance focused. And in part, I think some of the listeners, are going to be homeowners and certainly potentially driving vehicles and potentially, thinking about or have already started families. And so there's a myriad of insurance products and pieces, but I'm not interested in getting into the real nitty gritty because I know that the wormhole can go really deep, Rick. But what do you think, or what do you see as some common myths that families and individuals might have when it comes to insuring all the things?
Sure. And I'm sure we're limited on time, Matt, because I'm really passionate about it. I could go on all day. I told you earlier, I started late in my life in insurance, right? I wish I would have started right out of high school, but
Yeah.
I didn't. And some people do. Insurance agents have the same demeanor or reputation and compared to with used car salesmen. And used car salesmen are great, but 50% of them you don't want anything to do with. Same is true with insurance agents. 50% of us are bad. I want to be different and be on that upper end and educate people. I think that's the key with insurance. There's got to trust in the person. It's so mind-boggling. We don't go to school to become insurance agents. The passion comes from helping people and educating people and building relationships. It's not, there's transactions that take place like paying your bill. That's a pain, and rates go up, and that's, it's a necessary evil because to drive your car or vehicle, you need insurance and you have to pay for it. So with everything going on in the world and claims happening, rates are going up just like everything else. But as far as insurance as a whole, there's probably 4 areas, Matt, that people I would encourage talk to their agent. They're good agents, and get an earful and learn about it. And you sit across from me. I know darn good and well by the time they get to the parking lot, they forgot half of it. So it's not just a one-time thing. It's a relationship where you go over and over and make sure they understand it. So one, commercial like what you have, Matt, for your business, it's mind-boggling. The last thing you want to do at the end of the day is learn about your commercial insurance, but it's there for businesses, and there's so many nuances that you got to be able to trust your agent. I'm not going to talk much about that because, homeowners insurance, this one is big. What happened at the Marshall fire last year, right now they're saying that $2 billion worth of damage, and that's with a B.
Wow.
And out of all the homes that destroyed, that fire shouldn't have happened, but it did. It caught everybody by surprise. And I have a couple of customers that went through that, and I can't even imagine, Matt, the things that they're going through. So talk to your insurance agent, make sure your home is covered properly. We think about the structure. The structure is big because you want to be able, in case of an emergency or a fire, a devastating fire like that, you want to be able to replace it. You want to know about your deductibles, your liability. The other thing is your personal property, Matt, where turn the house upside down, everything that falls out, you need to be able to replace that or want to replace that. If you go through something as emotional and shocking as a fire, you're going to forget everything that you have. So I encourage whoever you have for insurance, no matter what, take out your smartphone, walk around your house, take a video. In the old days, we used to put it in the filing cabinet or on the computer, but if that burned down, they lost everything. The smartphone, it breaks, it gets lost or sold. You just get a new one, everything transfers over. So by taking that video, it really shows your adjuster exactly what you have. The more detail you have, the better off you'll be. So that's about home insurance. I mean, we can get into the weeds, like if you back into your own garage door, how does your claim work? But we won't do that here. Talk to your insurance agent how that goes.
Yeah.
The other thing is auto insurance, the necessary evil, right? You got to have it. You have to be able to prove you have insurance to drive. There's so many companies out there that offer it. There's more insurance agencies and companies than Starbucks. I mean, fathom that, right? So you can get it from anywhere. Just remember that 50% of the insurance agent population might not be good for you. There are some really good ones out there, but I don't want to get in trouble here, but I'm sure everybody's heard of Frank Azar. Saw the billboards, commercials, everything, the strong arm, right? Insurance for auto does a couple different things that protects you from getting sued by him, right? If you have state minimums, and Matt, do you know what the state minimum for liability is to drive in Colorado? Putting you on the spot. I'm sorry.
I would guess 500,000, but no idea.
That would be amazing if that was true. It's $25,000. So
Oh my gosh.
if you get in an accident and you hurt somebody, and it's not just the accident with the other vehicle, it's the bicyclist, the jogger, backing out of City Market parking lot or Walmart, and a child walks behind you.
Yeah.
If you have the state
Yeah.
minimums, your life is ruined. Not only the damage you cause to the other people, but if it exceeds limits that you have, somebody like, and I'm sure he does well for some people, somebody like Frank Azar will come and get your home and all your assets and future earnings. So it's real important to know that your insurance agent doesn't want to scare you. They want to educate you, and that's important. And then property damage. So you get into an accident, and you destroy the other vehicle, and it's your fault. The state minimum is $15,000. Now, there's not many used cars on the road that are less than $15,000, but then you get a Mercedes, a Tesla, something like that, your world's upside down. So that is something that talk to your agent about your minimums. And here, I'm going to leave you on the auto part with the most scary statistic. In Colorado, 65% of the drivers have either state minimums or no insurance at all.
Yeah, so he's only.
Now think about that.
Wow.
That's bizarre. All right, then
Wow.
we talked a little bit about commercial, home, auto. Probably the most important one, Matt, is life insurance. It sounds morbid, right? But what's your family or your significant other, your spouse, what are they going to do if something happens to you? How are you going to replace that income that you have? How are they going to survive comfortably? How are they going to be able to pay off that mortgage? Now, the good thing is many people have life insurance. They have it through their employer, which is absolutely amazing. But the worst thing with that, Matt, is if you leave that employment, 99% of the time, that insurance goes away. So you work for somebody for 20 years, you have life insurance, you're sitting pretty good. You retire, you leave for another position, that insurance goes away. What if diabetes comes into play or cancer comes into play? You're now uninsurable. So your insurance agent should walk you through that, not try and sell you anything, but educate the possibilities. So when I first got into insurance, Matt, I had a customer, a family. I quoted them home and auto and life. They didn't want the life insurance, and I didn't even ask questions. I insured their home and auto over in Olathe. 2 small kids. 6 months later, the husband died in a car accident. So this was before GoFundMe, right? They had the ad in the paper, set up an account at the local bank. I mean, their world was upside down. So if you take anything else out of this, walk away with talk to your insurance person or financial advisor about life insurance.
You just dropped some gold nuggets, and I want to bring some of those forward and just make sure, I heard this correct, because I think there's some real value in this, Rick. And my goodness, I can just feel that you're so solidly in for people and have this passion around insurance. So I'm going to try to get my questions organized here, but I wanted to make sure that I heard this correct. As far as homeowners insurance, one of the best things that anybody listening can do, and this might even play to renters insurance, you can tell me, but take a smartphone, walk around their house, document the walls, document the items in that home, and that is then the record that an adjuster can utilize should there be some event that requires that. Did I hear that correct?
You did. And we could elaborate much more. And the example with the Marshall Fire, some of those homes were second and third homes. The people that owned the home had no idea what was in it, right? Their claims are taking forever. It's been a year and they're still in progress, right? But the people that had more detail, as little as that video, Matt, and those claims are being settled right away. And it's amazing. It's a night and day difference. Even, you know, take videos of your closets and your shoes and boxes in the garage and in the shed, because you accumulate all these items over years. If something bad does happen, your insurance is there to work for it, right? You may not want to replace that same sofa, but you want compensation for that sofa.
What the?
And anything of value,
that's a great
more
tip.
detail the better.
Yeah. So go document today, folks, because I think that's such an easy one, and what a massive leverage of technology. And I never had even considered that to date. I can do that in my business as well. I love etymology. I love the history of words and of items. So, you know, as you were chatting, I looked up one of my favorite resources, Etym Online, just to see what insure means and where it comes from. A lot of it I'm sensing is really around protecting assets, protecting people. Do you know, Rick, when insurance was really formed? Like, was it 1600s or before then?
Yeah, boy, now paybacks are heck. You're getting me back for that other question I asked you, Matt.
Yeah.
I know. So the big players out there, American Family's been around for 100 years, State Farm, a couple 100 years. It started off with insuring crops, you know, in farmlands and different things like that, and then it evolved.
That makes sense.
So I'm sure there was some form of insurance back in the day, but you know, the modern day era has been probably 100, 200 years.
Yeah. And would you say, like, the insurance, I mean, the point is around protecting.
It is. It's protecting.
I think, to protect. Yeah.
You know, we all work hard for what we have, and in a moment, whether it's your fault or somebody else's, or just a surprise, that can be gone in a moment. So yeah, protecting, you know, every company has their mantra as far as their slogan. American Family protects dreams. And it's ironic, again, that today is Make Your Dreams Come True Day. But, you know, others are out there, you know, it covers being protected properly. And so many people aren't. That's the scary thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think part of that is, you know, just plain ignorance in what insurance really is, what it really costs, and some of that fear, because you had mentioned, you know, some of the stigma to an insurance agent. And I think that's true. I think there's stigma to salesmen in general and saleswomen. And, you know, there's stigma to mental health. And all these stigmas are just a little short-sighted. And especially for me, as I got into, you know, raising a family and starting to learn about life insurance, for a minute, I became a life insurance salesman, and I was one of the bad ones. While I love people, I just didn't know what I needed to know, and also what I didn't know. And so certainly there's a lot of just knowing who your agent is, making sure they're informed, making sure that they really are set up well with the perspective of win-win-win scenarios. Because I think some of the quote-unquote bad sales folks out there are really in it for them. Like, what can I take? What can I get out of this transaction? But at the end of the day, Rick, I think, just, you know, to circle up on the insurance conversation in this sit down with you, it really is an important piece of protecting what we work so hard for and what we create and set up for our families and for those that depend on us. And life really is precious. Like, it can go in a flicker, in a flash. And it's something that we don't always want to have a conversation around, but it is very real.
You know, You think of
What
your
what really
physician or your
brought you into
doctor.
insurance when you started?
What drew me in?
Yeah.
Selfishly, it was the opportunity to own my own business. I The only thing I knew
Yeah.
about insurance was what my personal experiences were, and I dove into it. I had an opportunity, and it was good, bad, and ugly of everything. But what I saw and noticed was people weren't being taken care of. It felt like so. You know, I, we all live by a golden rule, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. So I mentioned earlier, like my team and I have 5 employees currently, 5 team members, and we put ourselves in their perspective that how would they want to be treated? How would I want to be treated if I was being talked to? So back to the education part, we let them know um, as much as we can, as much as they're willing to take about it, and without confusing them. Um, for me in insurance, I'm a mediocre guy. I've been super successful, Matt. And the reason for my success, number one, is Michelle, my wife, going on 36 years. And I surround myself with amazing people. And, you know, I learned a lot about that Olathe family where the husband passed away. I could have done something different. If I would have asked more questions, I could have made a difference. And it still haunts me today, 20 years later almost. And thankfully that family's doing well now, but they had struggles. So back to surrounding myself with great people. You're doing the same thing in your business, Matt. You have Devin Carrillo. You have Jordan Stuckey that I know for sure. Pasquale over here at Grand Junction. Devin and Jordan, I got to work with them, and they're two amazing human beings, and they made me look better than I deserve. All my team members make me look better than I deserve. My family, I consider American family, it sounds silly, but it really does. Like all my kids worked in my agency at one point in time. Savannah still does remotely, and she lives in Wisconsin now. So it's amazing how it's developed over time. And, the first time that somebody was in an accident and I quit what I was doing and I went and helped them out because they were in shock. When you're selling insurance or when somebody's looking for insurance, all it is a piece of paper and a promise. What are you going to do for me if I have a claim? And back to, you can get insurance anywhere and everywhere online, and it depends what kind of service you want. Really don't know until you have a claim or you need to cash in on what you've been paying for time after time. And that's where the 50% of the agents out there in the world make a difference. They follow through with their promise instead of just a piece of paper or an insurance ID card so you can get your driver's license and registration. We're here to back you up.
Yeah. I love that. So in pivoting the conversation, last couple of questions for you, Rick. And I love that it's Make Your Dreams Day. I love that. What are you excited about over the next few years? What are some of your dreams that have yet to unravel and play out?
Oh my gosh. Well, Michelle and I are empty nesters now, so our kids are all grown up. We love our kids. And you've probably heard this from many grandparents before, but we have 4 grandchildren now. You talk about a game changer.
Love that.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So always excited to see what they're doing. Our family's most important to me. Friends, relationships. Matt, I suppose when you go into City Market, you don't just walk in, get the milk, and walk out. It's an affair, right? It's an hour-long event because you see people that you put a garage door in for or repaired it and things like that. And in Gunnison, I ate that up and loved seeing people. If I didn't see them across from me, I saw them at Walmart, City Market, downtown. And same thing in Montrose. I got to learn about people there. And here, as a manager, I only had 31 customers. So I was responsible for 31 agents throughout Colorado. And they're wonderful. but I really, really missed all the relationships that I got to learn about people and their families and their kids. And, it stinks when people pass away, but if I did everything I could to help them, that, I feel better. I can sleep at night. Or if I can save them money, or any agent can save them money by bundling, if you have your home and auto at different places, people talk to your agent, either one of them, and combine them, because there's incredible discounts. The community here, you asked me about that, Matt, it's amazing. And I had the opportunity to sponsor the Grand Junction Rockies. And throughout the whole season, I had a booth there the whole time. And I shared my booth with nonprofits, and I got to meet so many people. It was incredible. Like, what this community, Gunnison, Crested Butte does the same thing. Elevate Kids, the Humane Society, Rice Hearst, Mesa County Partners, Mesa Cause. I was building relationships, and they were talking to baseball fans as I was, but it's just sharing in the community. My corporate officer, American Family Corporate, every donation I make to a nonprofit, they will match. It's incredible.
Right.
I'm still a big fan and love K-Butte, right? And they're a nonprofit, so every time their fundraiser comes up and Michelle and I will donate, American Family will match our donation. So,
That's awesome.
I just love that, having that backing and support for local communities.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, my last question is, you teed it up. How might businesses and communities work together even more for the greater good, for strengthening community? What do you see from your perspective? And, with your knowledge of the Western Slope, this could go even a little bit more on a larger picture if you wish, but where are some of the opportunities for business, community, public servants to come together and build for the greater good?
Yeah. Great question. It starts by, I think, or one facet of it is being able to help. And I feel really good about what my agency has been able to do with partnering with these nonprofits. If you volunteer anywhere, even the soup kitchen, or, the food bank, you see how many people are in need, and it's really hard and struggling. Many people are comfortable, but it's always changing, and there's so many people hurting. And, I'm able right now to support 5 families with the people that work for me, and it's incredible. So as far as working with other businesses, in the insurance world, I network with home lenders, people that have your loan. I even network with my competition. If I don't have the perfect product for somebody, but I know brand X does, I'm going to do the person a favor and send them down the street. And that referral base goes back and forth. Like, there's so much that I can do that nobody else can do. It goes both ways. So I could talk all day on that question, Matt, but, getting involved in your community is so important. The high schools, oh my gosh, I see my insurance career as, think about it as a dad, right? You're in sports yourself in high school and care about half as much as you should. Then you become a parent and you know everything, right? And you try and tell your kids what to do and how to do it. But with me, I got to be an agent, and then I got into management, and I learned the whole nother side of the insurance world. And now I'm back in an agent. So putting all that together really means a lot. So sorry for that analogy, but I probably should have apologized up front. You might have to shut me up.
Well, our conversation formats, so usually 20 to 30 minutes, I already said, and potentially we'll reconnect and do another recording, because we could just hang out all day and chit chat.
Sure.
and go deep down these conversation rabbit holes of the opportunity. And man, Rick, your heart is pure, and you mentioned, kind of a fatherly and that's what exudes from you, is just caring for people. The other way I look at this, and I love archetypes. This is another rabbit hole that I'll just keep really short. Like, it's
Sure.
the king perspective, right? And as we mature as men and women, this is both a king and queen perspective, but it really does come from the perspective of, at a person's point in life, when they switch their mindset from taking to giving, and it's all about the give. It's about creating win-win-win-win scenarios. And this is just exuding from you, and in wanting people to win and wanting to protect people. And that really, to me, is a beautiful perspective, beautiful mindset. I really appreciated this conversation, Rick.
Likewise, Matt. And, I know it's been said over and over, but I don't feel this is a job, what I'm doing. It is a career, but when you get up every day and you enjoy coming to work, it's not a job. It's amazing. It's not even work. I mean, I think you know me well enough. I have fun every day. If I'm not joking around, that person that I'm talking to usually thinks they're in trouble, or something bad has happened. So, you got to enjoy what you do and have fun doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on National Make Your Dreams Day, Rick Nelson, I really, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for the golden nuggets that you dropped in. I'm excited to spread this knowledge and get this conversation out there. If folks are interested in reaching out to you, Rick, where might they find you?
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate your service for this, and I've watched almost all of your podcasts, and you provide great information.
That's amazing.
If people want to get ricknelsonagency.com, you can Google me. I do have a Facebook page, and social media, and I'll be the first to admit, I don't do much of it. I have people that are better than me do it. So, but any way you want to get a hold of me, you can. Good old fashioned, pick up the phone and call me.
Awesome. Well, we'll include some of those in our show links as well. So if you're listening, drop into the narrative and find ways to reach out to Rick if you are so called. And again, thank you, my friend. I look forward to connecting with you soon, and you have a wonderful day.
You too, Matt. Thank you so much.